شباب يا شباب،
ها فواز.
هذا تو واكي جاكي، عرفتوه ها؟
اي
شو بقى؟
حاط كليب حق تيجلتون. الناس شاكين انه سوى حركة بين فيها انه هاك.
مين تقلتن؟
ايه هو قاعد يضرب احد وهيل من دون تايمينج، فقاعد يجربها كان بالتريننج مرة راضي تضبط معاه.
بس يا زلمه، هذا واكي جاكي اصلا مش اول واحد بيعمل انه بصير بدقق بحدا، بدقق بكل برو بلاير.
ايه
فكر حاله انه
برازيل.
هو البرو بلاير الوحيد.
ويانا
ما ادري والله.
سكوادين عالية يا شباب، عالية عالية بدون تنويم. واحد طابق ثالث شباب.
شيء
شبابك واحد طابق ثالث. اعطوني سلاح.
ما بتاخذ سكيلز.
بهيل
يلا اصعد له. واحد فوق حيدر.
لا واحد
لا تقول لي هذا هو جير الشتقن. تثير شكتر هاك.
بس واحد فوق.
ابي واحد فوقه. جوي جماعته.
ما حدا ولا ما انت حدا.
جوا لو برو
واحد بالنص اسمعه.
مايك
فوقكم هو اكل حدا ريموف هلا. بدي اشوف بطل. نوك. لا ما يفنش ما تفنشش يا خيي، ما تفنش يا
يا اخي
الله.
صوت. يا جكتر صوت يا جكتر.
بفكر هيداك معهم.
دقيقة يا حبيبي.
خبصنا جكتر.
هيدا الفكرة انه اني نوك برا افضل.
يابا وياك مو هذا جوا هنا، طبنا من جوا من دربي.
واحد بالعالية واحد رماني من هناك.
حدا معه هيل. حبيبي
لحظة.
ايه على البيب اللي بوجهي.
هناك بالعالية ابو شو.
ورا الكاميون صار عندي.
وحشت.
يا
خلصين ولا في حدا اوسط من السكول؟
ايه
معه شي هذا للايتام.
معه طلع يوم كده.
هلا باخذهم معي على بعض.
كبيته له انا بدي اياه ولا على فكره.
هاي في هيل
وشو؟
هنا، في هيل هنا هواي.
روشوا.
مين؟
وينهم؟
انا انت اللي بشو.
هم وينهم اللي كانوا نوكوب؟
قتلتهم
بينومك؟
نوكا وجكتا.
راحوا ضف.
يا شرف
ظل عالم بالبيت الاحمر كان.
كسرته ما نزلش. لا لا راحوا
ابو
خلص
البيت
راحوا
الاحمر هم ماتوا،
تبع.
وحلو ظل سكول لاد.
ايه ضل في سكول بس. واكلين منيح اثنيناتهم اكلين.
واحد
خليهم
شام
يعيشوا.
يش.
لا انا عم بلش.
واحد هنا. واحد اكل بدي احمر.
ضربوا طلق ضربوا طلق ضرب طلق يلا.
اللي بعيد شو صار فيه؟
سمك.
اللي بعيد طلع خالد الباراشوت يريد ياخذ الميرج.
اكلت نيد انا. بس التباندج.
يلا كفنت.
واحد هنا واحد هنا.
نزل نوك ولا شو؟
فوق وينه؟ لا لا قاعد بالزاوية قاعد بالزاوية قاعد بالزاوية جدا.
حكب ستان انا.
لحظة لحظة لحظة. كب
كبستان.
كبستان يلا كبستان.
يعني شكله اللاعب هذا طارق الامرجسي يريد يشرد كيش بوتات. اريد مني شباب.
بدت.
تعال هاي مني يا قصد.
جيتك يا دم.
هذا بده سكوب ساكس.
اذا ما حدا بده بشي.
اذا قلبي بده اياه ماشي بدمي هوا وقف قلبي بيدي. تعال يشبه الزومبي. يلا معي باراشوت. يلا يلا فركناها باراشوت يا حيدر.
يلا الله ياك. ودت
والله الباراشوت
الحقونا بالباراشوت انتو.
والله غير لحقنكم بالباراشوت.
تكتيكال بس.
شو معك سموكات يا ميشو؟
هات ليش.
فيني واحد.
بعدكم لا ستلوتون.
لا ناطرو، انا عرفت اجي تجي الطيارة.
انا عم بري مع تكتيكال بس خلص ما لقيتش يلا بليه.
يلا روح وسط الطيارة بسرعة. محل اي والله يمكن محل لحاق.
لا لا لا.
يلا 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 يلا. والله لحقناها.
سيارة يمنا حيدر.
فكر الناس. حننزل مارك اه. يلا روح. حيدر رايح ازرق انا حيدر.
تعالوا علينا يمنا عالم.
نزلنا طيب بس. تعال شوف.
تعال السيارة تعال.
صوت.
في سموك قبل.
جيب السيارة بسرعة. بسرعة بيجي جيب السيارة.
روحوا له شباب لوش طلع المني طلع المني ميشو طلع المني.
طلع من تعال حيدر.
عشاك عشاك عشاك. انسى راح يغب.
واحد بوجهنا على الشاك.
واحد بالشاك. شفته بين. عمره اسيست. خلق بوتات يشيلونها ها حيدر ها.
ما شفتني موجود على الحاسبه.
والله عبالي حاط ميوت بالغلط ما تدري.
مو كنت قاعد انا بالسياره، انا نزلت بالسياره شفتك طبقت نص اللوبن. عرفت كانت عندي شغله وجيت. حتى
ما
واقف
أدري
مو
بيك.
قاعد العب كنت والله واقف على الحاسب، واقف هسه ما قاعد على الكرسي.
والله ارتد بوتات هولي.
يب يب تيكت لون.
بس اكستان. يا حرام. لا لا.
يلا شباب خليكم انا شوي ارجع لكم ها.
ماشي حبيبي فواز.
السلام عليكم.
السلام الحمودي.
شلونكم؟
الحمد لله بخير، انت شلونك؟
والله صعب. قعدت نص ما انه ضعيف.
النت صار له 3 ايام تعبان ويفصل.
بس اليوم.
والله صار لي عندي 3 ايام انا.
اليوم فد مرة ضعيف يعني ما اكيد ما ينزل. ما راح يقدر.
آه. موجودين جوانا لو ما هم؟ بالولد شلون نايمين.
هلو.
ولا حبيبي.
هاي فوكا.
سعمية طلقة خضراء هو السلاح اخضر ماكو. انا شنو فاتحين يمين شو هيدا؟
الدنش ينزل.
هيدا سلاح رشايا اخضر.
في سكار ها.
جبته. هناك بالبيت.
فوق 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 على الباشا. جاي فنش على الباب تحت.
ورانا.
كيف لف من ورانا.
مو بتيمهم هذا اصلا.
فوكا.
كلت فريز. الو،
آه.
فرجت عندي اللعبة. خلينا رست البي سي يا حيدر وجهي.
اللعبة ثقيلة الله.
نزلها من عندك.
يلا هينا.
سان نور حبيبي، هلا شوفوا حبيبي نورت.
هيدورة
ماي لوف.
اسكر هيدورة.
ها
اسكر.
هتسكر؟
ايه.
ليش؟
والله صدري عم يجاني بدي اروح نام.
سلامتك
نام
سلامتك،
الليل
ضلي
والله.
سلامتك. روح ارتاح اجي، روح ارتاح روح.
يلا هلا بالله
ان شاء الله ان شاء الله ان شاء الله حبيبي ان شاء الله.
لا تمشي يا اخوتي.
سلام حبيبي السلام.
حسن تشرفنا فيك يا
حبيبي
حبيبي.
يا اخي، حبيب.
يلا بالاذن.
شرفنا فيك
يا
حبيب.
اخي سلام يا اخوي.
استك معك.
اللعبة يا اخي اللعبة شنو 60 فريم تفاك بايعنا 60 هسه. اللعبة خرا، اللعبة خرا كلش خرا.
بده يلعب. في احمد نيو عامل ميوت. فوكا 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 هون. فوكا مش هون. اي اف كي. والله يا كيف فوكا والله.
الو الو، سمعوني؟
هلا هلا.
هلا. ميتة موت.
لحمودي
راح يدور
الله اخوي. جيكتر جيكتر يمكن ارجع الويندوز العاشر.
شو؟
ما احسه يفيدنا الويندوز، اللعبة كلش تقطيع في الفايت. يعني بيكادو يعني لا
طب
متفايت
ليه
معك.
يا اخي؟ طب ليه بس عندك؟ نفسي افهم ليه بس عندك؟
ما اعرف يعني الفريمات، يعني الفريمات شنو 100 كل فايت 100 190 80. يعني من ماكو احد تزيد الفريم بعدني ما دخلت فايت اللعبه تثقل والفريمات تنزل.
لا طب ما انت جربت لي بس اول شيء بدا ستريم بس الجيم.
يا اخي
مش ما تقول لي جربتها، ما تقول لي جربتها، ما تقول لي
ماني
جربتها.
وياك دا احكي دا احكي تفتح بث على تويتش. ما تفتح بث على تويتش قبل ما نسوي كل شيء بس ما تصير هيك عندي فريمات.
طيب لك شو بتعمل؟ هلا بدك ترست لانه كانوا مغيرين لنا انفيديا، بدك ترستر البي سي وتجرب لي ترجع بس. لانه مش بس تغير اعدادات الانفيديا، بدك ترستر البي سي.
اي
ما اعرف
لازم.
احس ما اعرف
خي
ايش بيها
جرب.
اللعبه.
يعني ما في غير انت عم تعاني خيي، كل العالم عم بيشتغل ولا حدا عم يعاني، فيش غير انت. بدي نفسي افهم ليش.
ما اعرف اللعبه ما
اكثر اللعبه ما تحتاج اكثر من 16 رام، مو صحيح؟
كل شيء جيمنج اصلا ما بده اكثر من 16 رام.
امم.
بس اللي يبث اذا يبث
ما انا
يعني
حيدر
ايه.
حيدر، اذا تقدر تروح تردهم للرامات وتجيب بدلهم شيء تاني خيي، والله حرام.
لا سجل عاد.
يعني تجيب 16 4000 تمام.
اي بس ما يشتغل عنده على المذر بورد.
يشتغلوا
جيل
يشتغلوا
الجيل التاسع.
بيشتغلوا.
صدق؟
مم.
لان انا عندي كوراي 7 جيل العاشر.
3600 جكتر يشتغلن. حمود يسولف
اه
على مال
بيشتغلوا.
حايدر.
اه
كمل حمود، لا خلاص كمل حمود.
انا هسه عندي العدد قد يتهم ال 10 و700 كي. هسه 3600 يدعم. راماتي مو زينه تتكرش.
مرحبا. بديت مباريات بطولة. يلا يلا لعد فصل الجيم راح ابث البطولة.
يا بطولة.
هاي البطولة مال جنجي سوني بطولة. خليه هنا خليه هنا. لا هنا خليه هنا على الميز. خليه هنا على الميز. يبارك. يلا يا شباب البيت راح ابث البطولة وراه الجيم. ياخذ بالشباب. ما دقوا موكل موتين. كيف لا حبيبي مدري قريبة.
برا في واحد. وجع البيت هون.
مستحيل ما يموت هذا.
ما معي هيل.
شيله.
هذا ركب.
هاي لاني اوكي.
ماتوا.
لا بلشت النوكات.
في
عندي
واحد
هيل
نابو
اعطيك.
كمان.
دشت لك اياه.
اخذها رجع.
ما ادري بس هاي
هاي هيل هنا.
هذا كوك
يمكن بالزرقاء.
بالسمعة.
ما جاي اسمع شي.
بنتين
بس عندك اكستند قصدي؟
لا.
ما شو عمرك؟ شباب بس دقيقة.
نزل حدا عماير.
كل
شفت وين؟
بالجازين واحد نوك الثاني يمه.
يلا بنات.
تدخل يبيك.
بنات شوف.
وينهم؟
عندي كان اخر طابق. بعد في حدا كازينو؟
لا ظل اللي عندك بس. ما سمعت صوتها؟
بيان
وين؟
اخر طابق نص.
ايمك. كلستان. شلون منعميه؟
خليني رايف حدا.
طيب طيب.
بس لو
ابو
ما ساعد
الروس. ابو الروس.
لك 5 استنات.
لك ابو الروس. نعم.
صوت واحد برا.
واحد برا؟
ايه.
تسمعه؟
ايوه
لا
رسيال.
سمعت حتى انا.
هو خرجك.
شهيد.
راسك جكتر قدامك. يشوفني مبيك يجي يحط نفسه قدامي.
يا برو مبيكو معاك برو.
غلط كانت تجي تحط نفسه قدامي نوكا كانت.
يا برو ما يعني ولا وحياة كوستي على الغالي.
انت ماكو احد تخيل ماكو احد بالبيكاد فريمات 90. تخيل تخيل ما اعرف شنو نسوي.
90. ما انا مش باللايف عندك.
ها؟
انا مش باللايف عندك وعم راقبه.
باوع زين لما عبرت لما دتلوتون. لما جيت رجعت لي ورا. شوف فريمات ايش قد.
هلا بعدها الجيم رستر وجرب لي يا اخي.
يلا تصعد تصعد خلص الجيم يلا يلا.
روح روح روح.
فايت يمين. سيارة لو اتش بي. وقف على مركب البيوت وكو عالم فوقاكم. جكتر وين نازل بالاوبن؟
ما بعرف انا وين نزلت على فكره.
ام جوستي.
عالم يمك بالبيت. على زرق. صعد يا جكتر. طابق له شارد.
ما كله.
تعال بوش على ذولي الهل.
اللي بعدك.
يا فوق على ماركي. فوق
هاي
جكتر.
مين لعب فيه؟
أنا
مين
ما
لعب فيه؟ بدك سيطلع مين اللي يكون لعبص فيه؟ ما يا زلمه يعني سوريا قصد ما صار هيك.
والله
حلو.
شفتم عالم؟
يب.
لا
وين؟
بالبيوت ايه.
دايما على الهنجار.
ايه.
ايه بوجي على الريتش.
فوق
اكتبوا ها.
ازرق. هذول هنا وين ولوا؟ شنو طلعوا؟
شكله طلعوا. وعليكم الله يسكر. لا والله.
فوقكم والله دير بالك.
بوجي يو 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 وراكم انتبهوا وراكم مارك.
ثاني لو اتش بي.
هيك لي فوق اغوست. عبرة.
اوكي ما اقدر اسوي شيء. كرهيت هذا الوران.
انا بالسموك كيف جاب السيارة يا دوست.
ولا علاقة يا سيارة. حاضر الكعبة ما تقول لي شنو قرودة. ود القرودة وين صادين. الجيم الخايس كلهم بشلبية فوق. اي ولا ما لوب اي ولا فهدوس.
جوستي
ما لوب.
ما لو بصنف لي على البث مالتي تاكد لي فاتح صورة كاملة على البطولة. شوف لي اياها
يلا
اسمه.
مشي.
سلامتك حبيبي.
نعم.
شوف لي اياها بس ماي لاف انه الصورة تمام.
الصورة كاملة على البث.
ايه منو؟
من بديت.
لا يحيى الاخوي الاخوي. هلا حبيبي نورت.
ليش صوته ما سمعان.
قصدي اذا تريد تلعب ويا يحيى اذا متابع البطولة انت ويحيى وحمودي
انا اريد اروح
يعني
اسوي كم
انا راح
شغلة
اخذ.
وارجع. مهمتين نفس
يلا انا
الشيء.
بالنسبة لي بس اكل وارجع انا موتي.
اه
حبايبنا بالبث هاي البطولة
بس
شوفوها عليكم
بس
البتريت حتى شوية 3
جي جي
ترجع
جي
كمان
جي.
شوي يا حيدر.
عمري
راجع
شنو؟
كمان شوي.
بس اكل وارجع.
يلا اوكي.
تمام. اذا بدك تلعب حضر نفسك.
اوكي.
عيب هيش ستريمر ولا فهدوس. هاي ليش فهدوس جي جي حبيبي على اللي يلعب سوا. لا بطلنا شي براسي خير. اعطوني توماس سيلفر. الله يحفظكم يا الله. شنو هاي مانشستر. هذا شو نسوي له. هذا نسوي له. وين هاي. شن. زين 5 دولار. حط بعد عليها ناشكو. يتي 5 دولار. علم كي ما تسوى. حط عليها 10 دولار واخذ هذا مال نافي. فهد يا احلى واحد فهد. ولا تقول لي الازرق بشرفك. انا الازرق اكثر اخر واحد اقتنع به. ما ادري ليش الازرق. ما شنو الحلو بيه والله. شو دقيقة نحط اللعبة الترا. فهد يا هو احلى واحد بيهن فهد. هذا الاصفر ترى كلش حلو الاصفر. احلى واحد يمكن هو الاصفر مال نافي. خلينا نشوف الازرق تقول. تو حيدر عاجبك الازرق ليش ما ادري. هو مال حتى ياتي ما اعرفهم ذولي. البرتقالي شوف البرتقالي هماتين حلو بصراحة. دقيقة نشوف الفرفرة شوية. اوه والله الازرق الظهر مالته حلو. والله هم حلو الازرق بصراحة. الظهر ذاك احلى من بالوجه صاير. يمكن اذا تلبس وياه شي. انا ما لابس شي ده. البرتقالي ترى. وشوف الاحمر رهيب بس هو من يلعب سكار. الاحمر همتين كلش حلو. شوف البرتقالي. البرتقالي البرتقالي والله الاي كي. اوف والله الاي كي مال 17 جيمنج ذولي. لازم اخذ انا هاي الام. بس البرتقالي اشوفه احلى. كلبسه لو كسكن سلاح، يا واحد منهن. سلاح الاحمر حلو مخربل سكار، ايوه الاحمر ابوهن، بس هو ترى السكار هم ما رهيب سكنه، بس هو من يلعب سكار؟ بس هو احلى واحد الاحمر، بس هو من يلعب سكار؟ ها هي لا عود. شوي بعد اشحن بطاقتي 10 دولار واشوف لو البرتقالي لو. والله باخذ هذا وهذا. $20. برتقالي كله حلو. سكن سلاحي. نشوف اللبسة، اللبسة حلوة بصراحة. دقيقة دقيقة بس خلينا نحط لنا تيشيرت جو حتى تطلع حلوة. مثلا نحط هذا البرتقالي وياها مال ماكلارين. يو. لا 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 لك كل احمر مو حلو والله. والله اذا نحط هيك شي. يا محمد. ها هي حج البرتقالي. البرتقالي. ها هي البرتقالي. واحتمال اخذ الاصفر، احتمال اخذهن اثنين سوية اذا قدرت. ويلي حتى الازرق حلو. بس والله ما الواحد يطقين كلهن ياخذهن بس غاليات. $60. ولا اشتري صندوق ومفتاح. عندي مفتاح. عندي مفتاح. طبعا نعال حشاكم. ونعال ثاني. بأن شغلة منا على السريع. شوف نافي والبرتقالي والازرق حلوات. ضل عقول كلهن كانت تشبقت بيهن. بس ياخذ ابي شي حاير. دقيقة. اعطيني بوسطال. انت فكر. انت انت فكر. اوف. الواد خوذه. ها. اخذها فهد. اللبسة ما احتاجها خايسة، عندي اياها نصها. الباقي سخيف. هاي رقصة شني. والله حلوة، اخذها رقصة اخذها. نبيع هاي اللبسة. ناخذ الخوذة. لا. لا اوفر. ناخذ الرقصة. بس اذا تريد تشتري واحد يا اما نافي او برتقالي. اذا اريد اشتري واحد اما نافي اللي هو الاصفر او البرتقالي. تمام. على الاغلب البرتقالي، يعني تعرف ليش؟ برتقالي تحس سهله، هذا تحسه صاير زردة. قبل يومين حيدر بوشوه تيم كامل كلهم لابسين هذا الاصفر. قلت له حيدر بوشاك ماعون مال زردة. قلت له ولك بوشاك ماعون مال زردة. قال شنو؟ قلت له ماعون مال زردة بوشاه. سب ضحك. لك بالعماير وقعدت نوك انا بالشتقن وابو عليك اياهم كلهم لابسين اصفر سيت كامل. بتم الضحك. حرام مسيه بتهاللقطة انا. والله بعد هنا شنو لك حلو ذن اللبسات. ذني شنو ذني. فاشلة هاي. يا حج هي ناخذ البرتقالية شوي بعد ان شاء الله. او يجوز هسه فد شوي اذا طلعت. هذول هم النافي باشين عليك. اي ضلعي. لك والله بشوا علي بالك يوم كلهم صفر. وواحد بصف الثاني شايف من يصعدون تيم كامل على بالعمارة مال عماير سكول بالدرج. يلا يلا خلي هسه شوية واجي ارجع لكم شباب البث. افتح لكم هاي البطولة. سد اللعبة حاليا. غير يصير عاد. ليش ما قاعد يطلع؟ اوكي خليه يشلال.
Completely understandable choice that they're making here. They know who is on the other side of those hills. They know it's an impossible feat to try and wrestle it away from them.
You know, and I know from a viewer's perspective, you're going to say, they walked away from that one. They denied the points. There was no reason to go for it. And honestly, we've all been in that spot. Why stick around? Why make these two teams who are in that position to fight for top's life a little bit worse? They went ahead, they denied the points, they knew there was no winning opportunity, and they opened the door for the other teams to really try some crazy things out, which we saw. That car crash, leaving Lou essentially, he worked so hard to get that flanking position, and then there was nobody left to flank.
Yeah, that's true. A very, very good linchpin move here by leaving Soul behind, being able to use him as the eyes overlooking it. But again, you know, when you've got Twisted Minds, Danoa left in this kind of scenario, these are two teams that you really don't want in winners, so that's why 4AM's obviously kind of making these decisions. It's brash and it is brazen, but it's very warranted. But anyway, let's focus on the teams that are able to do well here as we look at the top 4 coming in. It was Danoa, Twisted Minds, 4AM, and Howl, Sneaky Howl, getting that top 4.
Sneaky Howl, and not only that, but Ruin as well, another player who's been on the up and come that we can keep an eye on. Sure, they have 400 points, no kills, but getting those points up on the board, getting their ability to get into that late game, very, very nicely done. But for me, I just loved watching Danoa. They waited till the 4th circle. They chose their crash perfectly. They didn't do the old school, let's all get in a shack together. They rushed in, they spread out beautifully. Between them and 4AM, man, they played this match.
Absolutely. Danoa, very much so. Right now, for a lot of pundits, Korea's hope. Looking at how Soul's able to play, looking at how the entire roster is able to play, the decisions that you're referring to as well, and the spread out that they did. Fantastic. Let's take a look at some of the recap moments from this here. Tiamba trying to cause a little bit of a problem for a new Happy up on these hills. Regardless of who comes out of this, though, getting down these hills to the later circles is very difficult.
All I was going to say, we're going to recap as we move towards the end game. You may have noticed we didn't even cover the hot drop in the front because the wipeout, TM wiped out Pentagon so fast we don't even have a highlight for you. It was so quick, 27 seconds. I think it might be a record. But here we go to the end game. Twisted Minds, they have this compound, you know, and everybody's like, well, they got it. It just kept going on them. They got there with 4 kills, man. They had to hustle at the start to get here in the first place.
They definitely weren't warm, though, coming into this fight as Danoa decided to seize the initiative and really push onto this compound. Love the move that they were able to make happen here. And again, Soul, kind of the eyes and the ears looking at everything, knowing exactly where Lou was flanking from. It's a win for Danoa. Big points and taboo.
And you're going to look at that. There's the team stats for our winners. They come out 5 kills for Soul. If you've got him on your team, you are very happy right now. I can see Toby over in the green room dancing, and Cameron. They both put him on the team, so they feel pretty good about Danoa's performance. But I think everyone at home is going to be feeling pretty good about Danoa. And if you're... Guys, I'm going to say enjoy this screen, but don't worry about it if you miss it, because we're going to be seeing a lot of this all day today. Danoa is dominant.
Yeah, I think they will be popping up again. You're right. I think they will. And speaking of things that we thought might pop up, let's talk about that briefly about the Picardo scenario that goes down here, because as we're sat in the back, I'm calling it a lukewarm drop, not necessarily a hot drop here, as we also take a look at the man of the match as well. It will be Soul, of course. We've talked about him, yada, yada, yada. But the drop. For Sonics, what's very interesting about it is you don't even need to fight. You can just delay it until you're in blue, chilling out. It is terrifying for 17 right now.
Yeah, the Sonics wasn't interested in coming in and getting a headshot. It was like a horrible stomach wound, and they just let 17 bleed out. They lost the fight, but by the time it was over, 17 couldn't even get out of the blue, and that's huge because 17 needs to get points today. They want to be in the winner's bracket. Sonics can keep dancing around with 1 to 3 points per game and happily, I think, make the top 16.
Agreed.
So if I'm 17, I've got to either push into that Coliseum and fight them or maybe go somewhere else. And 17 traditionally has not done that. They're willing to take the fight. This is kind of vengeance for Sonics in a lot of ways.
It's very interesting to see how things are going to develop here throughout the day. But as we see this, not too many shifts here and there so far. It will be technically Danoa getting the average survival time, but that's because they've won 1 game and not played any more. So extract from that what you want.
Extrapolate what you will. But you can see, obviously, when we talk about the games today, for those of you, when we do get to overall scores and stuff, remember, C just joined the fray. So you're going to see their numbers a little bit lower. Overall, 4AM still going to have the most kills. Let's take a look at that match leaderboard, though.
I think what's very important when you look at the match leaderboard, as you're mentioning here, is Twisted Minds was searching for points. They were hungry for points, considering how well yesterday went, which was not very well. And now they're playing with a sub in the tab. Obviously, it's not Perfectix here, but the tab does have a wealth of competitive experience as well.
I mean, they come out and put out 13 points in their first game. They got 19 all day yesterday with their starters. So that's going to be a nice little boost for the team because there is that stressor of, hey, we've got the sub. Can tab step up and do this thing? That means they're going to be in a great spot. But overall leaderboard, 4AM looking very good right now at 73. Remember, this is a big day. C is just joining, so give teams like Donawa a chance to climb that.
I'm sure we'll scroll down as well through the 13th through 24th here, because now we have all those teams ready to go as Twisted Minds moving up to that 7th position.
Good for them.
Very important indeed. Not many games to be played out here, but with how 4AM is playing, I'm a little bit scared. I was saying to you at the back that whilst, yes, they rose a little bit regionally, etc., as months have gone on, there were moments where I'm like, okay, but they're not really playing that impressively. But look what they've done here so far in these first 2 days.
You know, and I talked to them about what their strategy was coming in, and they said since they added Summer to the roster, they're considering it a totally new roster. They've gone back to the drawing board on how they train.
That makes sense.
Summer has all the calls, and so they only consider themselves a team that's been together for 4 months. That is the mentality they came in with, and I love that it's sort of manifesting itself right now. You can see those Summer calls coming to fruition in the way that they're playing these mid to late games.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense considering you need that time to kind of slowly build what you need here for an international tournament as things do sit. So, Toffees, we're moving on to Erangel here in a few moments' time. What are your eyes on coming onto the grassy pastures?
The team you're looking at right now, STK, is a team that has had a up and down roller coaster over the last couple of years, and they need to make something happen right now. In the forefront, Vegas, the young gun, he's recently brought onto this roster to bring a little bit of fragility. Yesterday, he didn't live up to what he wanted to. I need them to step up in this game right now.
A little extra pressure as well, considering how well all your American teams are doing.
100%.
Looking really good. FaZe here coming in for the start of this game. They were kind of, the one thing about that previous circle was utterly rough, very rough. Unless you have the compound of Twisted Minds, unless you have some of those hillsides and you're actually winning out the fights in that south side, I don't know how you play it. FaZe was one of the victims of that south side hill play, and it can happen like that in given the circle.
And if you're talking about victims of that circle, winners of that circle, right here, these guys, the Twisted Minds came out with such a great circle after that initial fight. We're able to push the end game. Now we'll see what happens if we get a south shift or something like that. Can they adjust? And can they deal with Pentagram in future matches as we go forward? Because it's not going to stop.
But considering how fast that one went down, maybe. That was brutal here. But that was only game 1 of PGS, one day number 2 here. As we get into game 2, we will be going to Erangel. It is time for the grassy pastures. Let's head over to the commentators for all the action. It's Toby and Cameron.
Thank you so much, James and Toffees. What a pleasure it is to see these matches unfold. Cameron Donawa coming in day 1, pulling off plays that we might see teams there doing grand finals after days and days and days of competitive play in global lobbies. Donawa, nah, they do it in game 1.
Yeah, they are not waiting at all. And again, it's such a veteran roster, right? These are players that we've seen on a bunch of different teams, but all going to be at global events. They have the experience. So there's not going to, you don't expect to have that many nerves, even if you do have to pull a maneuver as risky as that one.
Exactly. We're seeing a very southern scoot plane here. Lipovka over Sosnovka. Normally you would say, well, I mean, it ain't the worst case. We're having 8 teams on the survey who have yet to touch the ground on Erangel. And if you're already in game 1, forced to go to alternate drop spots, unless if you're hard committing North George and really want to go there, I mean, this is going to force in some audibles. Maybe cause chaos for some of those teams that potentially wanted to hot drop one another.
This is disgusting.
It really is.
This is absolutely terrible.
It really is.
STK are not going to Novo. Like, Purple Moon thought they had Novo for free now that Genji wasn't involved in Sosnovka, but STK are going to be contesting there with that. We have both Tiamba and GEX there on the military base. Thankfully, New Happy and Daytree are going further out, going around the Primwars towards Gatka area. And then, of course, Sonics and 17. And then 4AM and Twisted Minds right now. I imagine this is going to be 4 vehicles for Twisted Minds to make their way towards Razak. It's still not a comfortable position.
Uh-oh, Summer, you're in trouble, buddy. You get up on the rug in time. He missed the rug. Does he get up there? The rug would be his saving grace, but actually... He will punch them out of the car if he has to. That is the confidence that 4AM is currently playing with. And now for Sonics again. Here they come, landing a little later than their counterpart in 17, but no early knocks. Not this time around either.
Mime already with an AK, however, so can't be too free with where you move for 17 gaming. Popping the tires. Again,
they're not planning on leaving. They're not planning on leaving this city.
This is just the griefing that Sonics have to do. They don't like. Doesn't matter if they could use that car later. They're just making sure 17 can't.
Honestly, right now, and I think that Des brought it up in a perfect manner. This is revenge. This is Sonic saying, you've been doing this to us 2 globals in a row. Now it's our turn to smear it in your face. Honestly, them taking out vehicles early, getting the north side as well, so there are more vehicles available for them. They're trying to make life miserable for 17 Gaming.
Now, looking at the rest of the map, this first zone, pretty heavy to the east, but considering that plane path, it's actually quite doable for a lot of these teams. It's really only day trade and then, well, the number of Sosnovka Island squads that have to worry about that. Though I did see briefly on that map, both Kiamba and STK in vehicles on the move. So we're going to see where they eventually land. STK now driving around Milta, but Milta Power has also been taken.
That's the thing.
I don't know where their end goal is.
Again, this circle, as you said, plenty of entry points to it. But what makes this one a bit of an audible is the plane was so hard southeast. With these southeast circles, you rarely see so many teams already on this side of the map. So it's tricky for teams like STK who are just now rotating out. If they haven't got the weaponry already to take fights, they might be running into fights in areas they wouldn't normally simply because of the southeast plane path.
Jamba rotating, just passing through a couple of rearranging members of New Happy. And now STK are arriving near Sunsis Runak. Spots the pressure, tries to get away. Good call there. But the question is, how much loot is there going to be for STK? They have some weaponry that they're able to find. They're in, I imagine, the Novo Crossroads before they made their move here. But they're certainly going to be looking for a lot more. Just looking at Penta right now, a couple of meds, would want more there. No utility, definitely want some of that.
Now, we saw Runex drive off, and in this case, perfectly acceptable. You hear multiple vehicles coming in early on. You're alone. Get the hell out of there. But it does kind of foreshadow and take me back to what we saw yesterday and what we have seen from Sun Sisters for a while. Passive playstyle, fair enough. But if you don't know when to punch back, if you're always playing the punching back rather than the one hitting it, you will not succeed. Yesterday, we saw them allow New Happy to overlap in Montenuevo. That cost them their lives. We saw them time and time again allow teams to take away their spots, which cost them games, cost them points. I want to see Sun Sisters just stand their ground at some point. Regardless of when they choose, stand your ground and take the fight. Don't die because your bag is on the blue and you've allowed every team past you. Take the fight. You can shoot, you can hit. I want to see them do it.
But right now, Food Chills from Day Trade shooting at Giamba.
Free to hit.
Day Trade had actually moved up to the Gaka area pretty quickly. You're taken very, very low. If you can't find that last shot.
Longskirt's not supposed to be alive.
Very lucky for sure on that one. Now Thunder is the lone player of Purple Mood on the scouting here. Yeah, definitely as a scouting maneuver, a scouting move. Because they don't know where STK went necessarily. They'd be worried about a bridge camp. So I like that heads-up play there coming out from Purple Mood.
Yeah, play it smart, play it safe. No reason to take any risks, especially not. I know that they're set in 16th right now with 16 points, but that is including a lot of games yesterday that didn't exactly go their way. So for Purple Mood, play it slow, play it smart, especially here in the early game.
Ooh, phase right now, moving up towards Sun Sister. It's Imak alone again. This team moving away from Milta Power have been trying to get closer and closer to the center of the zone step by step. A lot of teams contesting that area, and right now phase is the next one, pushing up into Sun Sister territory. Gusov, you can see there on the high ground trying to apply more pressure. The rest of Sun Sister needs to group up and support their teammate, try and punch back. And Pentagram is just there off the west side, as you saw for a brief moment. So if Sun Sister plays the terrain properly, they could push a team into another opponent.
Exactly, FaZe has to be worried though, because as you can see here, Pentagram just on the other side, forcing them out of the vehicles. No knock coming through. That is very, very fortunate for FaZe. They had them completely dialed on in, had the head in the crosshairs, but not able to take anyone down. Correxy now trying to play some sort of suppressive fire while the rest of his teammates are getting healed on up. And luckily for FaZe, at least for now, Sun Sisters seem to be backing off. They could easily get completely pinned down here on the Lion King Rock, but so far, able to stay put.
It's an Imak pushing forward, trying to look for something. Gustav also running down, trying to find a separate angle to get some explosive damage onto Pentagram. This could be huge if he's able to get to that rock. Hikari and the rest of Pentagram might be completely unawares.
And this is one of the situations to bring back the engagement with Sunsister before. This is one of the plays. Gustav, they know they have the backs against the wall. We need to find an open angle. Correxy found the first. Gustav now finds the other as they take out 2 of Pentagram. If there is no exit route, make an exit route. Carve it out in the stone if you have to. And that is exactly what FaZe are doing.
Follow-up grenades, but do they know if Hikari's position? He's going to have to answer back. Adder's going to bleed out. Akkad is very close to going out as well with just how close the rest of FaZe are. They're going to be confirming that kill, and a great take here by FaZe Clan.
Huge. Backs against the wall, able to turn things around. Now, Vex, those falls should be resible, though, as they instantly come to cover him up. And now Hikari going down as well. Pentagram thought they had it in the back. They thought they had the hero play to take them. But little did they know, FaZe Clan had an answer.
Sunsister, they've taken a little bit of ground off of this push by FaZe, but I want to see them take a little bit more. But FaZe right now, they are so focused on the last member of Pentagram, Wicked alone, trying to get some revenge back.
Aggress on it. You saw a knock come through. You've heard them all shooting. You see the rest coming through as well. This was their chance. The third party didn't go for the Wicked. Those find Vex. Second knock on him. Now we'll see if anyone can get the flush. Gustav, the savior from above, able to help. And now we saw shots, though, coming in from the north early on. And Apocalypse will claim Vex. So -3, potentially -6 to a couple of our talents as he falls.
Yeah, I'm one of those talents. But regardless of that it was quite a very, very questionable maneuver with the drive-by onto Wicked. I don't know if FaZe were just aware. They were assuming that Sunsister would be more aggressive on their backside, and they just wanted to get out there as possible.
Yeah.
But here, 17 actually removed themselves from the Pubg situation, or rather, Sonics did, and now J-Trade are driving by, and so they're still in the middle of a fight here.
Yep. J-Trade going, no, I'm there. I mean, I haven't heard any shots inside Pachinko lately. I'm sure there's no one there. And little does you know, 17 has only now started looting.
Oren's continuing his way through. Lilligos trying to find an angle to deal some extra follow-up damage, but it's very hard shots to hit.
Yeah.
Not likely going to come to anything, but you do what you can.
You say that, and then... No, okay, I tried. Yeah. I tried to, because I really wanted to hype you up there.
Imagine.
But what I like about this now is, yes, Sonics didn't take them out inside the city, fair enough, but Sonics, believe me, while they might usually look up their own rotations and where they want to go, they're looking up 17 rotations right now, seeing where they're normally going, and trying to set up shop at every single stop they're taking. 17 gonna have to play with an eye in the back of the head if they want to make sure that there ain't no Sonics players around.
Saw their third eye actually coming up towards that prison area. Box here on the rocks. Taking some shots onto Sunsister, and then FaZe also finding themselves inside the bowl itself. A couple other rotations coming through. Tiamba, GEX, all making their way across. New Happy is directly ahead of this team, however. I don't know if it's an intentional camp by New Happy, but if they hear vehicles come, might as well just stay put and see what damage you can deal.
Exactly, they were swapping vehicles. I think this is just a timing thing, and GX might be on the bad end of it. We'll see what's going to happen. They are coming in that direction. I think they might up to go shoreline. No, Leo going down saying hello, but no, timing is actually off. New Happy rotating out in the exact same moment. Aegis managed to get to cover, but as I say that, Leo able to take him down mid-transition. I thought this was New Happy setting up shop, but the timing was just off by a couple of seconds.
Yeah, really, really brutal. I expected New Happy to try and take advantage of the timing that could have been in their favor, but instead they just tried to move, didn't want to get into an early fight, and they get timed on losing a player. The shift, though, hard shift down towards the south. This does give, I guess, something back in New Happy's favor, as they have a little bit of space around Milton to try and claim. Great for Sunsister as well, and the rest of the teams from the north are immediately scrambling on the move.
The amount of commotion we'll see now in the forest between Shelter and Prison is going to be absolutely insane. There are only so many spots you can play in the north, and those spots are already taken. Now, Norrens does fall, as Crazy is able to run him over, take a little bit of a loot break before the team continues venturing forward. Again, they saw the circle, they know how many teams are wrapping south. They say, you know what, we repeat to it, let's not try and aggress, because we will just become part of the chaos. Yeah,
they're likely going to have to become part of the chaos anyway, though, because oftentimes you see those positioning around the south end of a Prison Hill. Man, it's really complicated trying to fit too many teams around there.
It is.
In fact, Purple Mood already just going inside the shelter.
I mean, if you're 4 AM here, in my book, you just rotate hard south. Not necessarily go to Milta, but it might not be a bad play. The issue for them is it was an east side plane, southeast circle to begin with. They're probably expecting there to be more teams down in that area, but little do they know. Now, our eyes go to 17. 3 points in game number 1 as they very, very slowly make their way towards the circle. But look at who is sat right in front of them.
Yep, Sonic's growing in towards farm, inside the zone, have a lot of space to push a little forward. So a lot of the priority positions have already been taken. 4AM in a similar spot with being just inside the zone.
Yeah.
But how much further can they really get? Hanamon gets knocked by a teammate, though, so it should be an easy enough revive.
17 started rotating north, going, well, I mean, now we've rotated out of our normal rotation path, but let's go back south again, because there's no way Sonics is still around, right? Up with that shift. If only they knew. Sonics are currently spreading out on the farm side of things, anticipating this push coming in from 17.
Jamba have made their way. Nice high ground position.
Yeah,
get some shots out. For them, they were coming in so late. Just getting inside the zone and waiting for phase 3 is good enough for them.
And they have Linshu down in the Alamo as well, so plenty of space to scout forward, of course, unless if this circle goes hard south. They should have pretty good eyesight on what's going on around them. 17 not taking any chances driving over the farm area, opting to go far down south. And for good reason, because Sonics were there raiding for them. Now, new circle is going to pop in just a minute's time. But until then, how far into the city, how far further east do 17 dare to go? Because they've had absolutely zero chance to scout anything in this area of the map up until now.
That's why they're stalling.
Yep.
Stopping right
It's
inside.
slow.
They're
It's
right
slow.
inside the phase, the border there, and they're just not going to take it far at all. Things are a little quiet now. Teams have gotten all settled in. Just trying to find information in this part of the map can be really, really difficult, especially if you're around the area that New Happy are in right now. So just waiting for the rest 30 seconds to see where phase 3 is going to go is, I think, what a lot of teams are going to be opting for.
I'm not usually a fan of big chaos, even though it is quite entertaining. But honestly, in this situation, I would love to see another Southern hard shift. We are seeing so many teams now forced to play in the open. How the hell would they ever get down towards Milton? Not that they have to go into the city, but the areas around there would be so incredibly hard for them to get to. Let's see, 10 seconds to go until the next circle is going to pop. Currently, everyone, all 56 players, find themselves in some pretty good positions. We lost a couple of players early on, making more space for them. But who's going to get the blessing of the PUBG gods? Let's find out now.
It's a pretty hard shift towards the south. Not as hard as I think you were hoping for, but it's still really good, and it's great for New Happy. Good for FaZe as well, despite losing one of their star players there.
Yeah, 17 as well. Really happy that Milta is still inside the circle. They stopped, they scouted, they didn't see a single vehicle. You can see Sushu up towards the yellows on the left side. Looking into the city, are there vehicles? Are there anyone maneuvering around? Are there open doors for teams potentially having been here? But no threats seen, no threats covered, and now out of being the last team to enter the previous circle, 17 arguably in what could become one of the best positions in the next circle.
Twisted Minds, Howler also moving up that hill. Where can you go? It's a pretty blind send for them. They might just want to stall a little bit short and use these prison rocks as a way to just slowly climb up. They realize that this is free, and you don't want to try and go for any sort of gamble this early on in the round.
I think this is where Howl says, we're not going to be the last team in the circle. Let's stop here and look backwards. Let's look outside the circle, because just like we're seeing here, teams will come from the outside and take the fight to us. And Danova does exactly that. Soul, continuing where he left off in the previous game, finds the first one. Loki to find the second. Third Eye, I thought they were ready for it, but not at all. Danova able to take 2 down quickly, forcing both Adam and Richie B to back off and go further towards the east.
How clean was that from Danova? They roll on in, they get the knocks, they get the kills, don't lose a single member, no one gets knocked. This is as easy as you would expect, or at least as you would hope here.
They're just coming in on fire. We didn't see them fight a whole lot in the beginning of game 1. I was a little worried when the fights did start happening. After they've been warmed up, they've been quiet in the first match, but then as soon as they started shooting, they were hitting shots right from the get-go. And now let's take a look at 4AM as they try to make their way further towards the east through the pincer of a day trade. Gex and New Happy split. They will lose players eventually. They have to, and yes, there he goes, Summer. First one to fall.
Summer goes down, GEX taking that spot, and Sonic's trying to get involved as well. Even more damage onto 4AM. It's all falling apart, and this is what I mean by the places to go for. It's really just individual towers or individual entrances to the bunker here that Purple Moon are trying to defend.
Pubg able to find the double, trying to stay put as best as they can as Purple Mood. They need the points desperately. Pow now over the hilltop. Flash locked on forward. Will it catch him? It might not have, but the pressure from up above is perfect. Thanawat able to help out, able to give info down below as to where Pow is and forcing him now down back inside the shelter itself.
And look at Howl on the minimap, just looking around, seeing if they can't find any angles of their own to get involved in this fight, get some more points for themselves, get some kills, see what they can steal, see just how involved they can get. This is one of the only areas of the map that can stay pretty isolated from the rest. Granted, you saw Purple Mood, they took a little shots from the high ground themselves, but this is really like a nice little pocket.
Where is Howl in this? I know they have to worry about Dano out east, but I want to see them pounce on this. They have a pretty good angle to try and make the sweep further towards the west, but I think they're playing this smart. It's the first game on the server, or second game, I should say. Wait and see the circle. Great, now we know that they came in our direction. Now we can play the flank. Now we can sweep and try and see if we can clear our edges and make more space for ourselves. Question now becomes, do you take the fight to the Chiamba and Purple Mood fight, or do you try and 4v4 Danoa, the team that just came out victorious in the previous?
You got to contest Danoa. You got to contest Danoa in this sort of situation. Danoa easily hold you out if you put any more presence towards the shelter area. It's just a couple of solos here, right? But Chiamba, they want to get out of this because they know the circle shifted away from them. Locked with the peak. Fluky does go down. Wants to confirm that, not allowing to get stolen.
Actually, Howl that's able to get the knock from afar, so regardless of whether they commit to one fight or another, they are starting to look towards the western side of things. In the meantime, down towards the southwest side, both Twisted Minds and Daytrade have to find ways inside the circle. 17, well, they're inside, but not exactly in a winnable position just yet.
Making their way across that field. That's a dangerous field to try across. So the fact that they are there is a really good start for this one. We still have a couple of teams that need to make their way inside of Phase 5, looking at Sonics, and then, of course, looking at Twisted Minds and Daytrade here on the west. Twisted Minds, they've... I was really not excited for their entrance into the zone, and I don't think they are still. But Danoa, the last one up for Purple Mood, is able to catch Gustav off guard. Lone player of Phase.
Sometimes snakes reside in the grass, sometimes you find them in the tower. And Gustav, maybe a bit of a jump scare there, as they are now well aware that Thanawat is sat inside the top floor of that building. One well-placed nade should be the downfall of him. You can see teams sprinting full speed forward, but you can't get too greedy on these. The open fields and the trees here, not that much cover to utilize, and you're well aware that there are teams around you. But James going forward anyway. Let's see if it's going to hit anything. No! Bounces a bit short, and now James might just himself get kind of caught in this position, because as we saw from just before, New Happy now aware of Faceland's position.
Danoa there with the underhand grenade.
I like it.
Yeah, just expecting James to be trying to go up those stairs. But James is just going to try and play safe right now.
We wanted to see Howl commit to one fight or the other. They swing west, they take out the remaining Chiamba players, and now they can start maneuvering further forward. Do they go Danoa? Do they go Chiamba? Though it seems like Howl is making their way towards the southwest.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way to go right now. They've given up the space for Danoa to take for them, so they have to go for this fight. This could be a huge grab of kill points here, and they try to remove and go in from the west side. But look at all the action that's already happening. Twisted Minds pushing on in onto Daytrade. Belmont gets taken out. The tab has been knocked. Blue has been fully killed, but Twisted Minds are trying to make this one work. But look at the angle, look at the pressure from 4 a.m. This is a hard run, a hard line for Twisted Minds to continue to make their way inside. Look at where they are in relation to the blue. They have no time to try and wait anything out here.
They try to take the fight to Daytrade. They're trying to get this over and done with, but they're also well aware that they are on the heated side of this circle. There's so many teams in and around them. Fortunately for Twisted Minds right now, they're fighting one another, Face and 4 a.m., battling it out towards the west. Danoa still not fully committing to any angle just yet, but Pubg, the guy left behind down below, finds one. They were holding that angle for 20 seconds. The moment he turns around, he gets shot in the back.
It's the damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation for Twisted Minds. Because they can't move for free when there's a solo out there, but then they have to move because they're in the blue. So it's just a rough situation. This is what I was worried about for them, and it looks like their run is going to be cut short once again.
And now, as we look down towards the south, the Daytrade fall in 12th. We didn't see it on camera, but in a blink of an eye, all of 17 died. Some of them shot one another, some of them fell to Sonics. Once Sonics realized where they were, they hard crashed the shack. They said, we don't care about points, we care about you. They went for them, and they might just have scared them enough to the extent that they started taking out one another. I hope we get a replay at some point of what that was, because it looked very interesting on the kill feed.
Howl moving back up towards the north, really trying to find what line they can take into this zone. But Wing's Eye is pushing forward. The sub in for 4 a.m. with a really nice spray down. Gets a knock onto Apocalypse. Schofield trying to answer back, trying to trade this. And a really good return for sure with time to get the revive. But again, that's the question. Where can they move? And there's the solo of Purple Mood ready to pounce onto that.
Yep, the snake comes around the corner once more, finds the first one. More damage will be done. No, not gonna have it once again. It's Schofield there to help. Howl able to stay put. 8 kills in this match already. We doubted their performance. What are they going to be able to do on the global stage? Last game, top 4. Now almost double-digit kills in game number 2.
Trimzy prepping the smokes for Sonic to continue to push forward, but they're getting shot from both angles. GEX on the left, STK on the right, and they are going to be eliminated just before placement points start to tick on in. Howl. Oh, well, they're able to make it to 8th, but can they make it any further than that? They do keep getting knocked. Again, this is the line, and this is the pressure from Danimal constantly filling in that west side.
Regardless of how this game turns out for Howl, it has been huge for them. Again, a team with limited to practically no LAN experience, coming in, getting this amount of kills on a global stage, showcasing for both themselves, their fans, and everyone else, we are here to perform, and we can perform against the best in the world. Great first Erangel game for Howl to showcase what they're worth.
Danimal still eyes on that side. Know that there are a couple of members of Howl remaining. But it's going to be Ming with the spot. Ruin forced to prone down. No free line of access into this one. And it's a bit early to suggest dying to the blue.
Oh, no, go for it.
You got to go for it, but I imagine it's going to be a death in the next few seconds. But Batulins, oh wow, still out in the blue. I just spotted that on the minimap. That's insane, still trying to survive through this.
I mean, with 21 alive, you don't know if there are 6 teams left alive or if there's 11. You need to try and stay alive as long as you can, because you don't know. 1 second could be more placement points going your way. STK in the meantime, still 4 alive. They need points going their way to Howl here. Will lose Ruin. So, at least for Batulins, closer to more placement points. But for STK, they take out the remaining players of Sonics, and now they get to wrap further east. They have plenty of space to maneuver, but they will have to take the fight now, either to Third Eye or Sun Sister.
I love this from New Happy, actually, because they know that the GEX right below them, the circle ship does favor them somewhat, but they want to try and clear out any sort of pressure from the south side, catch GEX off guard. They all actually leave the zone or thereabouts to try and remove this team to clear up that space.
Huge play. Again, proactiveness is key in a game of PUBG. You cannot just sit around and wait for teams to do something. You need to go out, do things on your own. And New Happy, reading it perfectly. As you were saying, pressure GX, force them towards the east, force them out in the blue, let them know that we're here. That way we make more space for ourselves in the long run.
STK now creeping up around Sun Sister. Tegu seems to be completely unaware of this presence, or at least not looking in that direction. STK needs to wait for an opportunity to perhaps get a knock before they can push in onto this one.
I'm just curious how many first days Batulins has, because he's been out there for a while now.
Vegas, shots towards the west, towards the GEX, but can't stay here for too much longer. Really just sticking around to make sure that they're not getting backfilled here and they can take the fight towards Sun Sister, but the blue is closing on in. Yuri does go down, however.
Lovely positioning from Vegas. Yuri will fall in the end of it. Shannon, solo player now left alive for GEX. I think they're well aware of his positioning. I don't think New Happy is going to give up this angle before they see that GEX are eliminated in the kill feed. You cannot have a snake deal with you in the way that we've seen snakes deal with teams yesterday.
And look at this from Danimal. Look at the minimap. Look at the space that they've been able to grab. They're just constantly aware of where all the teams are moving around and what is free for them to just really essentially take for free.
Imagine, we saw it from 4 a.m. yesterday, come in, win the first Miramar, then win the first Erangel. It might just be the same case here for Danawa.
Look at this for STK. They're pushing through, not into Sun Sister's buildings, but actually into the logs held by the remainder of Third Eye. The grenades are coming out. No real damage on Richie just yet. He has to go huge right now, though. Forward player for his team, barrel in hand, has to drop the grenade.
Yep, don't want to be peeking angles with smokes in your hand. They ain't doing a whole lot of damage. Peek come around with all the rich beat. Those managed to find the spikes. They're second as well. Barrel in hand takes down Purdy and Halo, denying the access to the circle. Now Adam does fall, so it's just Reggie left alive, trying to withstand. It's not going to work out for them, but look at this as a trade-off in the backside of things. Danawa hurt the commotion. They hurt the shots fired off of Sun Sister, and now they engage out towards the east.
And look at Xenon as well. STK do have a little bit of space to try and get the revives, but they're going to be cornered in this small little pocket that they have. and look at all the other teams looking into their direction. 6 teams up, a couple of solos still in play, and a lot of really, really healthy teams. And Danawa, again, just the space they're taking. It's insane.
That Sun Sister looked south for a split second. Soul instantly finds 2, and now they're all over them. Shannon will fall. That is New Happy with good info. No one is south of us. Now we can start flexing out as well, and they're doing exactly that.
Yeah, Amok gets taken out. Sun Sister have to ignore SDK, but can they? Is there a line between them?
Huge game for New Happy here. Great read on their part to try and take the fight to SDK. They found one already, but there's still 3 more left to be found. Xiaopian tries to go for one, but no, catches the corner of the smoke from his teammate. But now Ming finds the double around the side, goes for one more. Alo still almost at full HP, not connecting the amount of shots that we wanted to. Ming forced to swap over to the SLRs. He's down to low ammunition on his M4.
Was blinded for a second. Alo's going on the push and is able to get the knock. The last member up for STK, trying to stay alive. Remove New Happy. It's all on to Non for the Chinese here on the south. And they know whoever survives, and in this case it's going to be New Happy, but with whoever survives, they're going to have to run into the still full team of Danawa. We are close to having another back-to-back win.
And it has come in excellent fashion. Their initial push up to Third Eye, off of the hillside on Prison there, then follow-up pushes to just take out team after team after team. Didn't have to do much damage initially, but their presence alone forced Howl to go the other way, forced Sun Sister to focus their attention south, because they were sat there saying, you pick this angle again, we take off your helmet. They are asserting so much dominance, and they're only 1.5 game into this lobby.
And can I just give a big shout out to Patulin? How is he still alive, getting up into a podium position? Yes, he is still up. He is still up and surviving out of this. Everyone on that southwest side has been looping in towards the right, Non pushing onto Sun Sister territory. And are Danawa even aware of the possibility? Non with a nice spray onto Tegu. So close to making it higher up here on the placements.
Now I need to know how many first aids he had earlier. This is unheard of. Having said that, there were so many corpses on the western side that he must have been just fine with it. Nan, easy flush for him to take one more down. It's now solos galore standing in the way of a back-to-back for Danawa in their first game of PGS1.
But 11 kills for New Happy. Man, what a performance for them. Really strong performance, really strong showing, and make it work even more, even further.
I've seen solos do things before.
Yeah, but it's a 4-man squad. It's a 4-man squad of Danawa.
I know it is.
The only way that Danawa can lose this is if the 3 remaining solos take them out individually one at a time and all just happen to pounce at the same time.
I know it is, but I just want to see it happen. The power of the solo snake. So sometimes it's just too much to be dealt with.
Didn't spot Non.
I don't
Non is
think
able to rotate around that south end. But Non could be running to Patulin. This is what I mean. The backfill, the unaware space that has been taken in front of him.
I mean, it's the perfect angles. I was just going to say, it's the perfect angles for Danawa here, because they're essentially forcing the snakes into one another. They were the team to come in from the north. They've cleared that out schematically, one step at a time, never over-aggressing. Playing this one very, very much under control. Kills ain't high, didn't need them. Those 10 extra points and placements when they come out victorious in this match will be all they would have wanted. And again, Batulin's top 3 guaranteed. That is insane.
With Non taken out, Danawa know where the last member of Sun Sister is. You can see them flushing out that area. A lot of grenades and utility coming into play. Systematically peeking as an individual in Onyx. Almost got knocked, but I mean, it grows in.
Batulins, EU, shotgun. I don't think he's going to win this game. He only has one first.
But he's second place. Okay, but Batulin's going to second place. This is insane. This is completely unexpected. You have to tip your hat to that. But again, Danawa, it's virtually impossible for them to give this one up, but you can tell that they have no clue who the last member is. They're looking every single direction, but Batulin's going to be on the push right now. What he is hoping for is to catch Salute out and get the confirm on that knock, because there's no way he's going to get all 4.
When you're talking solo players after the rest of your team is dead, maybe 2 points. I mean, 3 points is phenomenal if a solo can claim that. He got 7 after his last teammate died off of placement points and a single kill. That is absolutely phenomenal. For a team that desperately need points, a solo player being able to get up that many is huge. But now, well, we've seen shotguns do magical things before. Batulins, do you have it in you to take out 4 from Danawa? Soul, level 3 gear. Loki swimming down below. They know where they have him. They see him now on the other side, and there they go. Soul again with the final kill. Back to back for Danawa.
It's not just 4 AM that can do it, and it's not just North America that can perform. Danawa are proving that they are here to stay. It was not a fluke. It was 2 wins, and they are skyrocketing up that leaderboard.
And in very, very similar fashion. When you think about how this game played out, last game it was them looting on the southern side, swing all the way north, come in late, and just clear one team at a time, make your way slow and schematically towards the center of the circle. This time around, same thing. Rev up towards that northern side, even when the circle's hard shift south, one push at a time, one fight at a time to come out victorious.
Taking space that you know is free, but not giving anything up, not
Welcome back here as we have PGS1 co-presented by Crafton and VSPO, and we have had ourselves the back-to-back go down here for Danawa. They came in strong, they came in as careers hope, and they are looking powerful.
I mean, it wouldn't be a start of a day if it wasn't back-to-backs here, right? They come out, they do a great job, but also a shout-out to Twisted Minds. That's 2 seconds in a row. They needed points today. They're fighting, whether they're placement or kill related, they're putting it up on the board, but Danawa, I told you we'd be seeing a lot of these guys, and it is scary.
Danawa.
You right?
You like that. You like that.
Yeah.
We've got ourselves...
Danawa, way to go.
What a performance, though. I mean, looking at this Erangel game, how things go down, we were saying with like 7 teams left, if they don't win this game, considering the land that they've carved out for themselves, and considering the way they're flexing out and pushing and corralling all these teams into one another, it would be a crying shame. And indeed, they were able to convert very effectively.
Well, it was. They had Salute as sort of a centerpiece. They kept rotating around him. They formed, I mean, they literally formed an L that blocked everybody else out of the circle. And then all they could really do was hunt. They went hunting. And shout out to Batulin for not going to the blue, I guess, but saying, hey, I'm going to try to fight you with a trench gun. But at the end of the day, they knew exactly where he was. They stood on top, and they just eradicated everyone. Danawa seems unstoppable.
Yeah, process of elimination to find Batulin's there by the end. They didn't know he was there, but it's like, okay, we've seen everything else in this circle. We'll just send some utility over that way and see what sticks. And it did indeed here, as Batulin's unfortunately goes down in second place. But I mean, I say unfortunately, fortunately goes down in second place, because actually this was a bit of a salvage game here for Twisted Minds to be able to get themselves to that spot.
That's it, salvaging, getting to that second place. They're going to have now as many points in 2 games as they did all day yesterday. So they will continue to grind that way up. Let's take a look at the top 4 teams. Danawa again up on top, 7 kills, 987 damage. I thought it was gonna be more, because they were hunting. Like they were just running the circle. They never got passive. They never stopped. They just destroy.
I said whilst we were watching the game as well, though, as we take a look at the top 4, as you mentioned, it's not my favorite circles, because in the way in which like these hills work, in which the way the covers works, etc., and things like that. So that's why we're seeing such a spread of damage, a spread of kills coming out. You kind of don't really have the greatest locations to lock down, unless you're Danawa in that one location. Everything else, losing players here and there, kind of a little bit scrappy in that area.
And I do want to mention, New Happy, they got 4th, but they got 11 kills off of that game and 2,000 plus damage. They were putting work in. They just, you know, it's a tough circle. If you don't get it, sometimes you don't get it, and they did a great job of making do with what they could. Third Eye here, great fight up against Shoot to Kill. Constantly North American violence back and forth between these 2 teams. But this is a great move. Here at STK, Purdy goes down. Alo makes a really nice drop here to get out from the fire of Ming, and then is able to come back over the top and finish him. Ultimately, he goes down, but a very nice play from that player.
Really important shot Ming down in that position, of course, to try and stop the tide that's going to be hitting you. New Happy, though, as you said, huge amount of kills to boot. There's Batulin's doing Batulin's things. And as you see, in these final circles, one thing that I really love when you know that you have this much control, a team like Danoa, we've seen World Championship teams do it in the past as well, is assert your dominance on the circle. You know what's remaining, flex out, create barriers, make sure your other teams have no room to breathe, and that's exactly how it felt against Danoa here.
100%. It's like me trying to sit in the middle seat on an airplane. I gotta put those elbows out and make sure I get to keep the armrest. That's what they did. They kept as much space as they could. Here's the screen we promised we'll keep seeing all day, and there they are again. Soul, salute, up on the top of the list, but it is a team effort every single time.
Definitely is. There's a lot of players, a lot of people out there playing Fantasy League that have Soul on their team, though. He is one of the guys that everybody looks at right now as the best in Korea, the pundits are saying. And we're looking at how he played things out in these last two games. Not too much surprise. There he is again. Back-to-back man of the match.
Back-to-back man of the match. Only 82 damage taken. Absolutely a beautiful play. And obviously his survival time will continue to dominate everyone because 2 chicken dinners in a row. But I got to be real. This is, I mean, Korea looking good. Korea looking like this could be a championship for them if this team keeps playing this way.
Maybe. There's obviously, as we looked yesterday, though, America's looking good. China's looking good. Europe's doing...
It's weird. It's nice to hear you say that. For the record, James just said America's doing well. Europe, clip it.
No, we did all right, you know. and Twisted Minds is kind of sneaking through a little bit.
Yeah, they're grinding their way up. Team summaries, total kills. New Happy 48 has now taken over that kill leaderboard, so pretty cool for them. But off the back of this match, New Happy's going to actually finish in second because of that astounding kill count.
17 points going Danoa's way. Howl, once again, actually, I was about to say kind of sneaking into these top positions, but 8 kills going their way. They did have strong positions to try and take some of those team fights that were moving towards them. And again, it's always Ruin that's trying to salvage things.
He's the survivor, but it is a polar opposite of the last game. Last time, Ruin Corner survived with no kills, but got them to 4th. This time they go on 8th, but still managed to climb up to 3rd because they're putting that work in whenever they can.
All right, here's the totals. Top 12 to take a look at things and how it goes, which means that technically, yes, top 16 will move on to that winner, so we'll take a look at that later, of course, but it's 76 points for 4AM up at the top. Martin was talking about the theoretical cutoff of around that 60-some points mark, so already 3 names up there, very, very solidified.
Yeah, and I think if there was question marks around is 60 the cutoff, it becomes more and more clear that it will be when teams like 4AM continue to suck up those points away from the top of the leaderboard and making it harder for some of the teams on the chase to get up there. Now, you are going to see some of those teams like Luminosity falling. That's because they're not playing here today, so obviously they're going to be back tomorrow, all of our teams from that group.
Here's our 13th through 24th as well, and the thing that's interesting is that we look towards 17, a big name that we think, you know, might be doing well. Of course, we still have the hot drops going on, lukewarm drops, whatever you want to call it.
It was,
we were talking about how for Erangel, it's the same scenario, but very different due to the way in which the buildings work and lines of sight work.
If Picado was a gut shot, this was sort of like a slow bleed or sort of wringing their neck. They dropped, Sonics didn't fight them, they got a little bit of loot, and they took all the cars. And then they just stayed ahead of 17 the whole time. So every time 17 finally found vehicles, they had to go farther outside in the blue. And so 2 games in, 17 with 3 points after 2 games, they can bounce back. Sure, as a viewer, you shouldn't be that stressed out, but as a team, that's got to be making them just a little bit shooken.
It makes sense. It makes sense in terms of a different approach, despite it being that hot drop scenario. Picado, lines of sight, everything sees everything. Pachinki, there are exit methods. There are ways to escape out and not really take that fight. So that's what 17's trying to do. And as you say, Sonic's trying to get ahead of them to prevent that. So I think it's really excellent to see that kind of, not mind game,
a little bit
strategies at play.
It's like chess, a game inside of a game.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Absolutely.
All right, here. Thank you very much. We have got ourselves game 2 in the books. We are going to be going to a break here at PGS1. When we return, we are moving on to game number 3 of day 2.
The blue is going to get the knock. Attack
吴迪这边的明明踩上来，露头盔，洗头，明明 Bill's already his way using the nade actually goes out towards it. Try and go for the flag, please the map. He is able to get it. 마지막에 이름을
Maybe they can find some assault. E1 Rilla lines up.
เอ็กซ์คลูซีฟโดนแฟดน็อกไปและยังไม่จบตรงนี้เบลมอสยังคงช่วยแฟดอยู่
9 kill để mà chồng đề thiệt trong diện tích của vòng bo. Cái vòng bo tiếp theo coi sở một mình trước những số tiền mới. Wow, đẹp quá rồi.
他这么被动，其实就是恭喜吃鸡的队伍。
そして上から一方的にムクに対しても
Cat and Goose are silent, not able to do so though. Can this is their first.
Now we can be in the game to play Pubg ourselves.
我们设计了我们脑海中一直想要很炫酷的皮肤。
兄弟们，现在登录游戏就能看到我们精心设计的皮肤了。
If I encountered a player wearing our skins in the game, I would feel like proud to see that.
PUBG e스포츠가 오랫동안 고민해왔던 지점 중에 하나가 팀들에게 실질적인 혜택과 더불어서 동반 성장하는 모델을 만들고자 하는 것이었습니다. 그러한 맥락에서 글로벌 파트너 팀 프로젝트를 시작하게 되었습니다. 그 시작으로 GPT 스킨을 제작을 하게 되었습니다. 이번 스킨은 팀에서 원화를 직접 제작을 해주셨는데요. 그 퀄리티가 정말 예상보다 훨씬 좋아서 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 팬분들께도 응원하는 팀에서 직접 제작을 해주셨기 때문에 더욱더 의미가 클 것이라 생각이 되는데요. 자신이 응원하는 팀에 대해서 오랫동안 응원해온 보람이 있구나 느끼실 수 있는 계기가 될 수 있을 것 같습니다.
I have imagined what it would feel like to have skins representing our team. It would be like we are actually in the battlegrounds ourselves in the game. Now we can be in the game to play Pubg ourselves.
We designed the skins in the way we've always imagined, wanted, and thought that would be cool. I hope our fans really love the skins. I think they look really cool, so I think the fans will enjoy them as well.
Well, the big challenge is to create something that represents the brand and it has to look cool so the fan has a desire for it. So you need to find the right elements and colors with meaning.
I'm thrilled that GPT skins will help our fans be united with our team. It's always exciting because you only create these things in the digital world, and it's a great joy to see our fans who will win in our skin.
希望这些皮肤能代表我们17战队，并向大家展示我们战队的文化和精神含义，这样才能确保皮肤能够被广大玩家喜爱和接受。
对我来说挺激动的，能在 PUBG 里看到代表我们17战队的皮肤饰品，这个过程让我想要拿出更好、更有说服力的表现，来更好的在电竞领域定位我自己和队伍。
这对于选手来说，在游戏里就拥有自己的那种专属道具啊，或者皮肤，就是非常有意义的一件事。然后希望以后这种合作也能够越来越多吧。
I believe there will be more opportunities communicating with our fans, expanding the global partner team program.
안녕하세요. 저는 PCC 캐릭터 팀의 이준호입니다. 캐릭터가 입는 의상, 총기, 그리고 탈 것들을 제작하고 있습니다. 팀별로 그런 색깔이나 특성이 있는 디자인이라고 생각했고 일반 옷으로 생각해도 굉장히 멋스러운 디자인이라고 생각했습니다. 팬들이 보았을 때 가장 중요하다고 생각되는 부분들, 그런 부분에 중점을 둬 작업을 했고요. 팬분들이나 이제 유저분들이 보았을 때 우리 팀의 이 유니폼을 입고 실제로 경기를 할 수 있겠구나 하면서 약간 그런 것들에 대한 만족을 위해서 생각을 하면서 작업을 했습니다.
And I want to thank every fan for your support. It like means a lot for us.
I cannot imagine the world without fans.
期待一下我们这款皮肤吧。
所以说，你们的支持对于我们非常重要，也希望大家多多支持17战队，谢谢大家。
And welcome back, everybody, to PGS1. We are 2 games in here so far, and you know, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good, Cammy, right now. Donawa winning back-to-back games, you know, sitting there on the couch. A masterful performance from them so far today. But I'm excited to move back to Miramar, a map that, I mean, Donawa has dominated in the PWS. So for me, I'm feeling pretty confident right now about my region, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the one team.
Yeah, I got one team. Look, I got to take what I can get, okay?
Yeah, but honestly, as long as they win the entire thing, the entire region can claim it, so.
Yeah, see, this is how we do it. Yeah, exactly. It was like Gen G in 2019, and now, yeah, exactly. Well, so far today, the games have been just absolutely great. I mean, this entire tournament, of course, but, you know, moving back over to Miramar, it seems like, you know, there's a comfort level for Donawa on this map. They seem to be really focused on it.
I mean, there's a comfort level of Donawa just in general,
That's
right?
fair.
Like, they played both maps very, very similarly. They took space when they needed to. We didn't have to see any need for them to go for some wild sends on Erengo. So, you know, perhaps you can argue maybe they have an easier time inside, but not to take away anything from them because they're just able to take space. Seemingly, it's not for free, but they take space so comfortably is the problem the other team's going to have to dealing with. It's like stepping away from your computer for a second, you come back and it's a cat on your chair. Like, you're gone for 20 seconds and that space has been received by someone else.
I love that. I love that. I really, really like that. Another team that's having a really strong day here today is Twisted Minds, a team that, you know, had kind of a slow start yesterday. Today, though, they seem to be picking it up somewhat, getting deep into games, maybe not getting the wins that they would like, but still finding good placements.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Bachulin's making to second place. I think he was out in the blue when they were still like double-digit teams alive, and he was able to go into second place. It has been a long time since we've seen blue healing plays make any sort of real impact.
It's hard. Yeah, teams have gotten so good about managing their edges, clearing space, and those kind of things that it's really tough to pull off a play like that. But who else? Who else but Batulins?
I guess,
you know, has the brain big enough to do it.
I guess, or the backpack to carry enough first aid kits. Because that's the real limiting factor there. It's just the damage that the blue does towards the end, but able to make it inside with just enough time, enough heals there. Woo, Sun Sister, though, what can we say about them? Because they were, well, that is definitely one thing you can say about them, because they were in a really strong position that entire game, but every single second that a team showed up, they just, like, gave it to them. It's like someone looked at you angrily and said, oh, take my wallet. It's like, oh, I was going to say hi. What do you...
Yeah, just have it. I don't want it anyway. Like,
like, please, no, don't hurt me.
You see those like videos of people getting mugged, they just like hand it over, and they're just like, don't even mess with it. They're like, no, it's okay.
That's what you're supposed to do in this ring, but this is a competition. It just seems weird that they're giving up so easily in terms of control, and they're trying to put up fights when it actually comes to the gunfight, but they don't seem to have the spatial advantage in those arrangements, in those engagements.
Certainly. SDK having a okay day, I'd say. I mean, I saw that. Frankly, I thought one of the best plays today was Alo's. You know, he prones down while fighting Ming Ming and is able to best him in that fight. Still, though, he was the last player alive, so he didn't last much too longer than that. But a really strong individual play, and you know, it's been kind of a rough go so far, but still not too bad from what, in my opinion, from what I've seen from SDK so far.
Yeah, it's definitely in the shadow of the strong performances from their regional siblings in Sonics and Luminosity, and especially when you consider SDK has had a core roster for so long, and they've had some really high highs on global tournaments. So that makes it really, the expectations are always going to be up there, even this far through this team's tenure. I still think we can see more from them. I still am expecting an extra level of performance from that entire team, because they can really all frag out, but it seems that like it's one game is one person's turn to do it. It's still like the stars need to align perfectly still yet for them to go on like that full 11th gear that we need.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they've hit that ultimate level, like where they can really kind of show us what we know is the potential inside of them. Is taking a little bit longer to get in the game than maybe we had hoped here, as some teams still checking out what was going on in a previous replays. We're still, you know, having a few minutes to VOD review here as we're trying to get ready, of course, for our next game. So bear with us, folks. We're going to get this going as soon as possible. But, you know, from time to time, esports, it takes a little while to get the old gears turning in the computers. So we'll get there soon, I think. But yeah, it's been a good start to the day. It's weird sitting on that couch for the first two games. You know what I mean? Like I just like wanted to get in there. I'm like losing my mind. Like, you know, Dono is playing well, and there's some big plays out there, and you know, still the 17 Sonics fight. A lot to, you know, take away from that so far is it's really hampered 17, and Sonics seems to be just totally fine with it.
Yeah, they don't really need to worry at all. They're picking up a couple of points here and there. They just need to make it in the 16th spot. Towards the end of the day, if they still haven't received that many points, we might see them move away from that hot drop. And I mean, 4 games of griefing is a pretty good job for them. I think they should be pretty happy with that one. But I mean, they won a team fight against 17 just the previous game, and so I don't think it's 0-point rounds for Sonics.
No, I don't think so at all. Yeah. I mean, then you can see they're laughing. They're having a good time today. So certainly the Sonics are comfortable, I think, in their decision today. And, you know, you could talk to them on stage. There was, you know, some debate about whether or not they wanted to hot drop today initially, but they did so well yesterday that they thought that this was the right opportunity to take advantage of that.
Yeah, a couple of teams from Group C, again, first day of play that I'm wanting to see more from is still FaZe.
FaZe, yeah.
Still waiting to see that next level. They're showing some good signs, showing some good performances. The initial approach onto Pentagram in the last game was actually really, really strong. I still don't know how much I like the vehicle maneuver to take out Wicked at the end there. I thought that was a pretty brash move with the drive-by, and they lose Vex because of that. But I think the follow-up plays from that point were still pretty solid, but I'm waiting for the explosive blowout game that we know FaZe are able to deliver on.
Oh, no doubt. You just feel like FaZe is always warming up for that big moment, that big play that's going to put themselves, you know, into that grand finals or into that winner's bracket or whatever. So certainly you expect that they can get it done, and I'm really excited to get these games going, guys. Again, it looks like the players are starting to kind of focus up a little bit more, so I don't think we're too far away, hopefully. And it's just been kind of weird because it's like just like yesterday. The first 2 games, 4 a.m. wins both games right out the gate. They win today. Today it's Donawa. And what's really interesting is you think back to, you know, 4 a.m.'s playing today, and they're not having a great day. That's okay. They're having an okay day.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's still fine, right? It doesn't matter. They're basically, they're good to go. But for 4 a.m., you know, Summer said in his post-game interview yesterday that the team he's most worried about is Donawa, and you can see why.
Yeah, I mean, they're such a stacked roster. Not to continue to talk about them, but I mean, come on, how could you not?
I want you to. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, it's absolutely, honestly, absolutely fantastic.
Hashtag no bias.
No bias. We've seen so many of these players on a bunch of different rosters, a bunch of different globally, and granted, a lot of times, Danawa perform very well in their region, come to their global, they don't perform terribly, but they never reach that highs, and they're starting out here really, really strong. They should be able to keep it, and this is one of the, looking back in their performance at PWS to get here, one of the most even kill and damage spreads from any team across the board, which is so exciting to see. If there's a team that only has like 1 or 2 really star players and the rest are playing, you know, more supporting, which is a role that you need to be able to fill, but if everyone is able to frag out in the way that Danawa has been showing in their performances so far, it's really exciting, really, really strong. If you remove one player, the rest can easily fill those shoes.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Danawa, like, talking about the support player, is it Loki or Salute? You know, and you think about, that's your support player?
If that's your support player, yeah. Exactly.
Crazy good team. I mean, and you know, from a personal perspective, like, obviously I covered the PWS, and this is Danawa's first time winning the PWS, their first time winning anything. That isn't like some like third-party tournament, like an official PUBG event. And so for them, it was a very emotional moment, you know, talking to Cheese and Sonic about it after the fact. They said that, you know, neither of them cry ever in their lives, basically. But they both instantly, as soon as they knew they were winning the event, it was just, you know, it was very emotional for them.
Yeah. But, you know, people always say that.
I mean, it's easy to be emotional about
it is. No. I mean, okay, sorry. They say that they never cry.
Yeah.
I
see.
They're ignoring all the times they've been out late at the party, and they're crying over beers, just talking about how much they all love each other. This is definitely something that you would expect to be incredibly emotional for these players that have been performing and playing for so long to finally achieve that one big trophy, even if it's not a global, even if it's, I don't want to say just a regional event like PWS is, but not even if it's not as big as a global event, it's still a really, really solid achievement.
It's a big step.
Exactly.
Yeah. So really exciting stuff. You know, 17, we'll see if they can maybe weather the storm of this Pachinki-Picado fight. I don't expect either team to back off of it today, to be frank. I know 17, you know, with their history of dominating that fight for the most part, recent history anyway.
That's the difference, though.
Right.
Because previously they've dominated the fights.
Right.
I don't know if it's because of the way that Sonics are approaching that they don't need to win the fight just straight out in order to have a good game. They can waste their own game to grief 17, so that is going to have a different dynamic. But both times so far, 17 haven't dominated those fights. They have, even if they've won it, like we look on the first Miramar map, it took them ages to do so. And so 17 might need to consider leaving unless they want to ruin their entire day here.
I love what you're talking about. I think that's really a really important factor, a really important difference that 17 is going to have to consider, no doubt about it. Another team, I want to shift gears just a little bit here, talk about a team that still needs to pick it up a little bit. They're still kind of there. They're still kind of playing pretty well, is New Happy. If we really want to like see them solidify a spot in that winner's bracket finals, you know, they're probably pretty close. They're probably doing all right, but they could still stand to pick it up a little bit. It seems like mid-game, they have some explosive moments, but then they kind of tend to fall apart as the game like progresses from mid to late.
Yeah, and Third Eye as well here. A lot of teams, we're still waiting a lot of stuff out of. New Happy, I agree. It seems that they are almost still getting their feet firmly on the ground when it comes towards their late game performances, but you have to acknowledge that mechanically, still incredibly strong, still incredibly powerful, and are a big, big threat here.
And I don't know how true this is or not, but part of me feels like potentially when other teams see them in the kill feed and they hear the shots and they know that it's New Happy, that maybe they're considering, you know what, maybe we should just go over there and make sure they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, let's really make sure the nails are into that coffin.
Yeah, make sure that dirt is planted over it, like patted down.
Get the roses out, make sure everything's good to go. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're close to starting here, folks, so thank you again for bearing with us. We're getting ready, and everybody's getting into the lobby. We're making sure everything's copacetic and all that kind of stuff, so we are pretty darn close to getting there. I see some headsets going on. I see the players a little bit in there. Pentagram has been struggling in the power grid fight, to put it nicely, here today. It was only one game, but you can't have it at the pro level with what I saw. Pentagram, you can't have a mistake like they had with their parachuting. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, honestly, Pentagram is a team that I don't know really what to say about them. And even when they had a game that wasn't a hot drop, they still went out first because of that fight against FaZe on the previous Erangel. And yeah, and the fact they got eliminated so fast on Miramar, if they don't leave, if at this point they still don't leave, I don't know what realm of reality that they're on. It's a different one from where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, dude. I mean, as much as I like Pentagram, as much as I have so much, history with these players, and these players have so much history in and of themselves, I think it may be time to reconsider this power grid thing because it has not gone very well for them. We know they're individually very talented players. I saw them turn it around as the year went on, but we'll see what they want to do this one. We're into match 3, everybody, and we will be going over to Miramar, and I can see this plane path on the map, and oh baby, it's a good one.
It's disgusting. Almost mirror, but in the opposite direction from the Erangel on the last map. And, sticking on the talking point of Pentagram versus Twisted Minds, this is so far from Power Grid. Do you just try and float there, or are you going to try and grab early vehicles and drive there? And if you fight for vehicles it's...
No, you're right. The decisions are hard to make here. And one of the few plane paths that aren't within kind of the natural dropping distance of Power Grid at the very least. So curious to see about that. I do see 17 not interested in Picado. Look at this. Look at this.
Backing away? Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe the plane path has... No, that's not even true. The plane path had nothing to do with this because they're now dropping to a place that is going to be contested elsewhere with the Purple Mood and GEX. So this is actually an even worse situation for 17 of all the games to try and finally give up Picado. This was not a great one for them.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Danawa has an interesting little situation here where maybe they can get someone out of the sky. Salute with that Winchester. Please do it, my friend. I would love to see it. And an incredibly difficult shot, as good as the bullet velocity is in the Winchester. Adam actually finding some shot there as Pentagram trying to get away from, two teams that dropped a little bit ahead of them. Circle is going to go southwest and pretty heavily southwest. So we might get one.
Oh, man. And now Sonics too. I mean, into the micro Uzi, but still, Pentagram just cannot catch a break while Twisted Minds are still in the air, long floating over towards Power Grid.
I feel like with the micro Uzi from that distance, it's like trying to spray your neighbor that's a football field away from you with a water hose.
Yeah.
They're like, good luck getting it to arc that high.
Yeah. I mean, it's 9mm, so the bullet drop shouldn't be that much. It's more of, if it does land, it's going to be like a fly.
It's not going to hurt much. Yeah, it's just really tough to make much happen out of there. So curious to kind of watch Pentagram a little bit. 17, of course, going to be a point of focus as well in this game. They're a little bit split on their drop here. If you guys are watching the map feed, always we encourage you to. It adds an extra layer to the game. Put it on your phone, put it on your second monitor, whatever. But they're a little bit split up between Purple Mood.
Yeah, there's a lot of mix-ups here on this East Coast. GEX, Purple Mood, even a little bit of Howl, all around each other, 17. And then Sun Sister to the south of all this with a really, really wide spread. With this circle, southwest, centering up not too far south of Danawal's position in Chuma. Sun Sister have a really good spot to try and gatekeep this east side, but Danawa, they're still on this fight against Richie B. While Tingleton gets a shot onto a COD, this whole situation between Chuma and Power is really interesting.
Well, COD got left behind by the rest of Pentagram, and he paid the price there, taking some damage, our members of Third Eye, but so far, nothing catastrophic at all. Long-range shots with a red dot for Salute on this barrel. Difficult to land for sure. Just switch back to the Witty. Salute. The bullet velocity is phenomenal on that thing. Loki's going to try to push Oldest. They've identified he's the only player out here. They're going to wrap right around him, or maybe they don't know he's here. Okay.
They know now, yeah.
They know now. And Loki gets that one. Takes quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, but Fox here as well with a Winnie of his own, but running out to the open. This is all falling apart for Third Eye. Really great take once again by Danawal to isolate individual players, understand what possibilities of these sends they can take, and doing it so cleanly.
And with the confidence they have from winning 2 games, right? You can make plays like this.
Yeah.
It's I like to see these type of situations. The shot calling here from Soul, masterful.
It's really good play. Now, they don't want to work. I don't want to see them take too much time. I think if they were to try and finish off Third Eye, take out Adam and Richie B, it would be a bit too much because they need to focus up about the zone for the rest of the round. They have the best drop position for the best spot in the center of Zone 1. If they wait too long, it's going to be all those teams on the east and even the teams further north that are going to be coming down into their space.
Yeah, no, that's really well said. Chuma's era, absolutely the ideal drop spot here, and you want to get a little bit more loot and those kind of things too. So
yeah,
still fully worth it. I think in everybody's book what they did. So we do have an interview here with Tiggleton, I believe.
I definitely think that Group B is the group of death, given we have New Happy and Twisted Minds, who are both just extremely formidable in the international scenes, and also having 4AM, who just won PCL. I guess that means that they're pretty informed, so it's a pretty rough group. I'd say that our strongest rival is STK because we stole their coach. They're pretty upset with us. I think that we're looking to get us. Honestly, very excited. We kind of messed up the last international tournaments, so it's good to have that chance at redemption. Honestly, it's very exciting to be in Malaysia. I'm enjoying our time here so much so far, so just honestly feeling super excited. Not really nervous this time around. Should be good.
Should definitely be excited now. Actually being able to successfully get 17 away from the center position. How long has this moment been escaping them? They finally get to celebrate it.
They've got to feel great. I mean, just, after yesterday, I think in my book, I really just felt like that was the most disciplined version of the Sonics I've ever seen. I like to use that word a lot, but they felt much more in control of themselves. It felt like they were controlling their space extremely well, making sure that every move they tried to make was as safe as they could make it, and they try to maximize points. That's been the big topic of focus for them, maximize points.
Exactly. 17 going to try and maximize these points because of how grief they've been from the first 2 rounds, rotating through Los Leones or just south of it, running through a couple of area held by New Happy. For a second, it looked like New Happy would have been timed, similar to what we saw the previous game, but they've been safe for now. But does 17 know that someone's here? HS peeks up just in time. Can't quite confirm that knock.
Decent damage done, but HS going to get backed off. It's actually Apocalyptic here from Howl, who's doing some damage to him from afar. And Xiao Bei, though, is down and out by the road. Looks like he will be not long for this lobby. Xiao DD trying to see if he can get there. In fact, Xiao Bei might have just been able to cut off enough of the angles here. Lil Goes circling the wagons. There's Apocalyptic, but spotted out by Ming Ming and got a headshot with the SLR. Finally, Ruin able to put Xiao Bei down.
Yeah, unfortunately. Xiao Bei does go out, even with the so close to being able to revive that player. 17, and now this kind of gone bad from bad to worse for them. They're getting completely surrounded by a couple of different teams. Can't even get into the zone without being contested.
No doubt, no doubt. Third Eye, those 2 surviving members found themselves with the 3 surviving members of Pentagram in Monte Nuevo. Twisted Minds is rotating around the outside of this. Not too much to be spoken of other than they're there. Just kind of an interesting rotation, and these 2 teams here know, at least certainly Pentagram knows. I'm not certain that Third Eye has identified Wicked's position here.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody like Adam or something kind of trying to help isolate here for Richie B. So see if Wicked's able to find something out of this.
Yeah, this could be a really good opportunity to pick up some much needed points because this is Pentagram's last day and they're currently in 15th place. They're going to want to end in at least, 10th, I guess, to feel comfortable about not being able to play tomorrow. And that's still assuming that no one's going to have another solid day from Group C.
Oh, Zepion has Xiao DD just down and out. And that's an easy one there. Zepion able to just kind of park it inside of the warehouse and get a free point. 17 here, struggling with these rotations, it feels like, not knowing exactly where teams are going to be setting up with their space.
That one is really unlucky for 17, I have to say that. So that initial push onto the main core of New Happy, a little bit of a scouting error, you could say, but Zepion, there was no way that they could have known he was stuck behind them and now suddenly surrounded by one team. And so being able to pick that one up, it's just, this is a situation that you can't exactly plan for a team like 17, but the mental damage that has been slowly accruing over time has been building up to a really rough situation for them.
Yeah, it feels like maybe there's a world where 17 is like, okay, he's able to kind of figure out in the back of his head that maybe somebody's in there or could be at that angle or something, but I think you're absolutely right. The mental damage for 17 is certainly strong. Only 3 points here so far in 2 games is very underwhelming for a team of their caliber.
Exactly. And they leave Picado and still can't play their game.
Exactly.
They still can't get into the zone without running into drama, if you want to call it. I don't know if drama is a weird word to use for it, but you know what I mean.
Well, teams. It's just there's just tons of, other teams in their way. It's going to be, everything's going to be new, uncharted territory for them.
4AM now. Grouping on up, not far away from Chuma, just I guess the Chuma suburbs? want to call it that.
Tuma
Northeast of
suburbs.
it. Yeah, it's around that area. And Sonics and FaZe getting really close to each other. Shrimsy trying to run away and get out of this. Jeems with the grenade at the ready, but the vehicle engine revving on up. A couple of shots that way, but good covering fire from Mime to stop any real damage from happening.
Yeah, good coordination, good teamwork there from the Sonics to make sure they had Shrimsy covered. Shrimsy there